Hey, 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 hey. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I don't know why that song makes me want to dance, that intro. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Joan T. Randall. I am sitting in front of you this afternoon, and I do not have my co host. My co host is dealing with some personal matters, and so she could not make it today. But I am here, and this afternoon, I want to talk. I'm going to go through a three-part series. This week is the first week, next week, and then the week after. It's a three-part series about, can a book really start a business? Can a book start a business? Yes, it can. And if you have not yet tapped into that, I need you to hear me out today. So today, our focus is really going to truly be on, should you write? And if you write, where is your book right now? What is happening with your book? I'm going to turn off my notifications because my phone keeps dinging. And I don't want to disturb this. And if you're watching me today, I want you to drop your name in the chat so I can say hello to you. Share this broadcast out. Share this broadcast out. First of all, if you're watching me for the first time and you don't really know me, if somebody invited you to the Books to Business and Beyond group and you came just to support that person, I just wanted to say welcome, welcome, welcome. We are broadcasting this afternoon in our group, Books to Business and Beyond, and we're also broadcasting on YouTube. I am super excited to tell you that we now have 2,100 tribe members in Books to Business and Beyond. So thank you for all of you who joined. This is a space where we talk about what matters when it comes onto your books and your business, or you as a writer, or you wanting to write. We will provide the tips, the things you need here. What I would love for you to do is just drop questions every now and again in the chat in the group, and someone will be able to answer it. So my name is Joan T. Randall. I'm the founder of Victorious You Press and the creator of Books to Business and Beyond, a group that I trademarked. Not the group trademark, the name has been trademarked a couple of years ago. So what do we do at Books to Business and Beyond? Or what do we do in this group? And what do I do as a publisher? So I help individuals, right, that are career driven professionals and kingdom driven entrepreneurs to write their books, use the power of the pen to write their books, their messages, write their impact so that they can get it out into the marketplace. They can create multiple streams of income and leave a legacy. That's what we do. And we do it from a place of serving God, right? We're a faith-based business, and I am excited about that. And honestly, as an entrepreneur, believe me when I tell you, it's a faith walk. Just entrepreneurship. It is a faith walk because there are times when you don't know where you're going. You don't even see the staircase, but you know you have this gift. You know you have this skill. You know you have this thing inside of you that needs to be shared with the world, that needs to be shared with the marketplace. And so you know that if you have it in you, that you are already equipped. Sometimes you just have to work on it, right? To make it happen. And that is why I'm here today, to encourage you to put pen to paper if you have not yet done so. I also want to encourage you that if you have put pen to paper and your book is just sitting out there on Amazon collecting dust, there are things that you can do to revigorate, re-energize that book, that message that you wrote in the past. So I have some slides today because I want to keep my mind, I want to keep focus on what I'm talking about. And I tend to go all over the place when I'm having a conversation. And sometimes I'll leave I'll leave the message, but today I did not want to leave anything out. I want to make sure that I am giving you the things that you need to create or to turn your book into a business. And if you have never written a book, what do you write to turn it into a business? So I'm going to go and I'm going to share on my screen because I don't have Leslie here today and I'm doing solo. I need a little company. So I have some PowerPoints as my company today, right? And the first, I want to make sure I'm on slide 1. Yes, I am on slide 1. And slide 1 says, why should you write? Now, that might be the question that you're asking. I know if you're on social media, any at all, you are going to see people talking about publishing. You're going to see people encouraging you to write a book. That is on there every day. I mean, as I scroll through social media, there's all these publishing resources, publishing companies, book writing coaches, book writing courses. There's so many things about writing and book that is on social media, right? And so you have to think to yourself, well, do I have a story that I need to write? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You do have a story. First of all, let me just say this, right? If you are listening or watching me or watching this replay, I want you to know this, that if you have lived any type of life, you have gone through some stuff, right? Where you are today was not where you were 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, which means you have some experience. You have something that you can share, right? And it would be sad that you leave this world and you don't share that story. So why should you write? You should write because it is your legacy. Your life that you have lived is the legacy that you will leave for your children's children. Yes, I know you might have money and you can leave that as legacy. You might have buildings, real estate, you can leave that as legacy. You might have other things, right? Trust, funds, whatever, that you can leave to your children for legacy. But there is nothing more profound than documenting your life or writing your life on paper, and with all the ebbs and flows and the ups and the downs and all of the things that you have experienced and all of the resilience, all of the will, all of the persevering. Can you imagine putting that together and leaving that for your children's children? And I'll give you a great example. And I said this before, my grandmother, my mother's mother, I do not know much about her. I can't even recall who was her father, right? And my grandmother lived until she was 98 and was never really sick. You know what I mean? And all of these, she had things, remedies for hair and for illnesses and for your body. They never went to the doctor. But I just believe that if my grandmother had even written those things down and just, talk to us a little bit about her life experience, how was she raised, what she had to overcome, I think today, me, her granddaughter, I would have been able to put that in a book. I would have been able to honor the legacy of my grandmother. But I'm still left with questions because there's not much I know. And here's the thing, my mom, who was her daughter, didn't really share much either, right? So honestly, we're now trying to put pieces together as to how we can find out more about my mother's side of the family. So writing it, putting it down on paper is very important as to how you leave your legacy and what your children and your children's children know about you. And I'm talking about books, but I'm sharing with you, why should you write? It is also to give back. And here's the thing, nobody should hold that pen. Don't let anybody else tell your story. Your story is about you. Nobody knows you or knows your experience quite like you. Don't let anybody tell your story. I read a post yesterday and it was a friend of mine who made this post, and she said, I'm writing my own obituary because I don't want anybody else to write my obituary. So I am writing my obituary. And when I go on past, transition to the other side, let them use what I have written so I can tell the real thing about me. Because I'm telling you, she is right. Because sometimes those obituary, oh my God, they leave people out. People get angry. People get upset. There's always some disgruntled thing going on at funerals because of some of those things, right? So why should you write? You should write because you're leaving your legacy. You're holding the pen and you're giving back. Believe it or not, writing a book is giving back. Think about it for a moment. It is giving back and it is going to empower the generation to come. All right. So why should you write? Number one, legacy. Number two, giving back. Number three, you should hold the pen. It is your pen and nobody can tell it like you. The other thing is, when should you write? Right? When should you write? Now. Now. Why now? Because this is all you have. This is all you have. You don't know how much longer. You don't know when your life is going to be sucked out of your body. You don't know when you might not wake up one morning. You don't know. So it is now. You've got to take advantage of it now. You got to put it on paper now. My friend Angie Mitchell always say, is now. You don't have no time. You acting like you have time. You do not have time. You do not have time. You don't know when. And so often we try to sit back and say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it the next day. I'll do it the next day. And you truly don't have time. You don't know if the next day is even possible. So if you are listening to me right now and you say to me, Joan, I don't have the time to write. I don't know if I can do it. I'm busy with family. I'm busy with work. I'm busy with my career. I'm busy with job. I'm busy with ministry. I'm busy doing this. I'm busy doing that. And then I get tired. It means that you're not leaving a space for you. If you don't have the time to write, it means that you are not doing self-care. Because if you do self-care, it is the perfect opportunity for you to just be still, quiet the mind, go in meditation, grab a book and a pen. And when you come out of meditation, just start jotting things down, right? Another thing that I do, which would be something that you can do too, is that I try to, if I'm on a drive and I have these things in my head, I just turn on my voice note and start speaking. Last Monday, I was driving back from Atlanta and I recorded a video of me just talking about things that are on my heart and things that I want to do and where do I want to see my business and where do I want to see my health and all of these things, right? And I recorded for about an hour and a half as I'm driving. My phone was in the phone stand thing and I'm driving and just speaking. And I'm just speaking everything just so I don't forget the thoughts that I had, right? So you don't have to always be writing. You could just use your voice note and you can record. Right now, AI is so big that all of those recordings can be transcribed into words. So you don't even have to worry about, oh my God, I got to listen to myself and then I got to type it. No, there are transcription services that you can use to transcribe everything you speak, your audio, into words. And so the time is now for you to write. I want to say hello to those who are watching me in the group. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. All right. Next slide is, what should I write? Joan, I don't know what to write. I'm not sure what I need to write. Well, here are the things that you should be writing about. You can write your story, right? You can write a message that you have that you think can benefit someone. You can write about your profession, right? What you do. You can write, who should write? A business owner should write. Ministry leaders should write. So who should write? People who have a story to tell, people who have a message to share with the world, professionals who are career leaders who have been in their jobs forever. Write. right? So that others can know how you got into what you were doing and what are some of the experiences that you have had, just in case somebody is wanting to do that too, right? If you're a business owner, you should write. You should write a business book. I'm speaking to myself right there, right? I have written several books, but they're more story based, memoir related, anthologies, devotionals, things like that. And I'm in the middle now of perfecting my book, Power of the Pen. And it was a course that I did. So I have the material, but as I'm looking at it, I want to now add some worksheets and things like that. So I am in the process of writing my business book because I think what the business book does for entrepreneurs is show that they have this knowledge about what they do. They are the subject matter experts of what they do. They have the knowledge, they have the wisdom, they have learned experiences. So every business owner should write a book about the thing that they do in business. And then ministry leaders, right? Ministry leaders should always write a book, whether you're an elder, a pastor, a prophet, a preacher, an evangelist, a teacher, whatever you are, how you do the role that you do, you should write a book. You can write a book about missions. You can write a book about your ministry. You can write a book about evangelism, right? You can write a book about being a deacon. You can write a book about being a servant. All of those things that you do so well, that you do to benefit others and to serve others, you should document that. You should put that in a book. What should you write? Right? What should you write? So if you write a book about the gift that God has given you, that is a book. Your gift is a book, right? So whatever gifts, skills, treasures, talent, opportunities you have, you should write that. There's some people that do so many things well, that is it, you can tell it's an innate gift that God has given them. Write about it. Write about when you first experienced that gift. How did it make you feel? Write about the first time you opened your mouth and you realized you could sing. What was that like? And how have you worked on those gifts to perfect it? Right? It might be something that you do really well. Some people, like I know my aunt, she is great at horticulture. That she speaks to her plants, she waters them. There's this conversation with her and the plants, and everything her hand touches grows and just blossoms and it becomes beautiful. That is something that can be written. So you can write your memoir or your biography. That is the story about your life, right? That is a book. Knowledge, anything you learn over the years that you have lived, you have gathered knowledge and skills that people can utilize as you share those in a book or in a story, right? Those things are knowledge, learned skills. You can write about that because it will always benefit someone that is searching for it. I can't tell you how many times I go to Udemy because I want to learn something else. And Udemy is this online learning platform that I go to. Like right now, I am trying to learn about the art of formatting, right? And so when I buy that Udemy course, it is just to understand the intricacies of formatting because I just bought a whole suite of Adobe. So I bought the Adobe suite, I bought the this whole thing because as a publisher we need it, right? And we have always outsourced that formatting piece of our business, but now we found someone that wants to learn the formatting piece. And so our job is to have an in-house person learn formatting. Does it mean that we won't still or outsource formatting? Absolutely not. But I think as the leader and the CEO of Victorious You Press, I'm not going to do formatting, but I want to understand it so that if I have to use InDesign or I have to use Adobe Pro or I have to use one of those things that we just bought as a suite, then I am not so clueless that I don't know how to do it. So my goal is to continue learning, right? And the people on Udemy, They are getting paid. Why? Because they have these knowledge and these learned skills that they are now offering as a course, right? But if they never wrote it, if they never made it public, if they never said, listen, I learned this and now I can teach others, they would not be getting paid to do these courses, right? So if you have something that you know really well and you're great at it, you can write that. It doesn't have to be a big book. Listen, 18, 19, 24 pages or however many pages, right? 24 pages on an 8 by 11 will be about 48 pages in a 5.5 by 8.5. And that could be your book. It doesn't have to be a big book, right? If you have a solution to a problem that you know affects people, you can write that, right? There's a lot of people who want to know about skincare because they have dermatitis or they have other skin issues, and you have a remedy, you have a recipe, you have a know-how that can help their skin. Write about that. That's a solution to a problem. That is a book that people will pick up because guess what? You start with the problem. You start, and when you are marketing it, you're starting with the problem. Have you ever noticed that your skin is so and so if you use certain chemicals or certain things on your skin? I have the solution for that, right? You start with the problem in mind and you create your book around the solution to the problem. You can also write a how-to guide, how to do certain things, right? How did you get from where you were to where you are? What were the steps that you took? What were the things that you had to put in place? How did you have to change your mindset? What was that process like? What is it? What is mindset, right? So when you have those how-to guides, people want to know, people want to hear it, people will use it to help themselves. The number one book or books from a categorical standpoint in nonfiction that is sold is personal development. Personal development, the number one category of books that are sold. So when you write a how-to guide, it is actually helping someone personally develop, whether it's mindset, knowledge, skills, behavior. You know what I mean? So those books are great books to write. Inspirational guide. People are always looking for books that are inspirational, right? I have two books now that I'm working on. Sharapolo Williamson wrote a book called Affirmed, and then I'm reading this book called The Pivot Year. When I tell you that book has blessed my soul, it is inspirational books, but even as a business owner, even as a person that has written inspirational books, I still go to these books and I still find benefit and joy and light bulb moments from these books. So if you are good in terms of, you know, being inspirational, writing prayer books, writing motivational books, writing a book like The Pivot Year, and really it's just every day of the year, she just gives you an overview of things that she has experienced. But it was her experience that she's now put in a book, and millions of copies of that book is sold because I see myself and I can relate to a lot of the things that she writes in that book. So if you have, some people are just inspirational in the things that they have overcame, the things that they do, the way they talk, the way they minister. They have this sense of discernment and motivation. Put that in a book. Put it in a book. I know you spend hours sometimes talking to people about different things, right? You're this go to person that everybody comes to when they want to feel a little motivated. Put that in a book and make it available to the world, right? Because your gifts and talents and skills and stories will make room for you. It will, and it will help you with abundance, right? The more you give, the more you serve, the more you share is the more you get in return. And sometimes the spoken word is powerful, right? Spoken word is powerful, but the spoken word you cannot get back. So when you speak it and then write it, it's a 1-2 punch, baby. Speak it and then write it. You speaking it into existence, but you're writing it to hold yourself accountable. So now you have this 1-2 punch that nothing can erase, right? Talent and gift, right? What are the skills and the talent, the innate skills that you have, the innate gift, the innate talent that can be taught? What is that? Like, I see people teaching dance. I see people teaching voice coaches. I see people teaching, mental health. I see people teaching a lot of things I see people teaching crochet. What is that gift that you have that can be taught to somebody else? That can be written. That could be a book. All right. That could be a journal. And then for those that are faith leaders, right? Especially if you have this mission and if you have this ministry, you can help others build their missions and build their ministry. And to do that, you need to have some level of things that are written so somebody can take that and run with it, right? So here are the books that can be written: a memoir or a biography, anything that you've learned, that's knowledge, a solution to a problem, how-to guides, inspirational books, journals, prayer books. And if you have a gift innate that can be taught, and anything that has to do with missions and ministry, these are books that you can write, right? And you might be watching today, and I'm getting ready to wrap up in a couple of minutes. As I said, this is part one. This is just laying the foundation of how to start a business from a book, right? But you may say to me, Elder Joan, I already have a book and I published it years ago and it's sitting on a shelf. It's sitting on Amazon. I really haven't done anything with it. I really haven't marketed my book. It's been so long now that I don't know how to re-engage this book and the content of the book. It is not too late. You absolutely can re-engage. First of all, you can take the exact same content in the book, add a page or two additional as a refresher, change the cover, and relaunch the book. And then that book becomes the basis of the start of your business. It's that simple. Now, next week, I'm going to talk about, when you write, what are some of the things that need to be in place so that you can start to build your business on that. So next week, we're going to talk about using your book, taking the book that you have now written or the manuscript, and what do you put in place to make that book a business? All right. That is all I have for you today. Thank you for joining me. I hope this was beneficial for you. I hope that you got something out of it today. Again, share this broadcast out and invite some other people to watch it. And if you're in the group, if you're new to the Books to Business and Beyond group, again, welcome. I look forward to seeing you all next week when we have part 2 of using your book to start a business. All right. God bless you. We'll see you next week. And remember, the pen creates an indelible moment in time that can never be erased. Peace out.